the best is yet to come. Ladies and gentlemen, the best is yet to come.
Call the police.
The just concluded U.S. Republican convention seems to be Trump's own family gatherings. Besides his youngest son, Barron, Trump's wife, as well as his 4 grown children, even Trump's eldest son's girlfriend, all appeared in the screen of the gathering. Well, all Trump's family members showed up together, joining the convention. Undoubtedly, Trump wants to build his family to be another Kennedy's or Clinton's. That is to say, no matter who is going to run for the next U.S. president from Trump's family, he or she at least is well known to public. So in today's episode, let's analyze who is possibly to become the next President Trump. First, the most highlighted one must be Ivanka. Well, we have to admit she's well-behaved and good-looking. If she appears in public, Melania will be ignored and becomes the second lady. Ivanka's own black history might be the same as Michael Kors, plagiarism, but there's no need to justify. For example, the previous hot sale shoes in the same style with Aquazzura and Chanel. You could tell it by yourself. Ivanka sold the same styles of shoes with lower price. Well, I have to say, she made shoes cheaper again. By the way, all her brand of shoes are made in China. It reminds me of a scene where Trump's supporters used made in China campaign items to support China-US trade war. Although lawsuits towards Ivanka has begun since the second half year of 2015, many e-commerce websites such as Nordstrom said they would remove Ivanka's brand. However, her ambition doesn't aim at fashion at all. Fashion Circle is just a stepping stone, and she just needs to win the title. Her ultimate dream is just one: joining the White House. After all, being a model would never win more followers than being a president. If you don't believe, just look at the biggest internet influencer in the United States. If not, why does the husband of the second biggest internet influencer in the US run for the president? If you ask Ivanka whether she would become the next Donald Trump, a rapist, a lunatic, a racist, she would give a no for the answer. She would become a combination of Martha Stewart and Hillary Clinton rather than the next Trump. On the first night of the Republican Party convention, the president's eldest son, Donald Trump Jr., took center stage and commanded the nation's attention. He praised his father's leadership during his speech, saying that Trump's policies have been like rocket fuel to the economy. But his most powerful lines were not about the president. They were swipes at Joe Biden, the Democratic nominee for the president. He said Biden's radical left-wing policies would stop our economic recovery code. Biden has promised to take the money back out of your pocket and keep it in the swamp. Mr. Trump said, adding, "That makes sense, considering Joe Biden is basically the Loch Ness monster of the swamp. For the past half-century, he's been lurking around in there." Although the 42-year-old Donald Trump Jr. has never entered politics, he's ambitious. It's reported that he will run for the 2024 U.S. presidential election and is likely to be nominated by a Republican. BBC commented that Donald Trump Jr. is Trumpier than Trump. His presentations are laced with full-throated attacks on liberals, Hunter Biden, Joe Biden's son, and on the media. He's in many ways similar to his father. He and his fathers are all Penn's alumni, but unlike his father, the son really graduated from Wharton. At this point, he is superior than his father. Then let's turn to Eric Trump, Trump's second son. Eric's media explosion is not as much as Ivanka and Donald Trump Jr. But there's at least one thing totally for sure, that Eric's speech skills is the #1 among his family members. Ivanka, compared with him, is more like a Barbie doll who lacks sort of authenticity. He delivered a wonderful speech at the 2016 Republican National Convention for his father. The pace and the inflammatory parts of the speech were both perfect. The last words, "My father is running for you," pushed the scene atmosphere towards the climax. Besides, Eric has been devoted to charitable causes after graduation from college, which is much like his uncle Robert Trump, who has just passed away. Eric has been sponsored a Children's Disease Research Institute. Although many media said what he has done is all for tax avoidance, he was still voted as one of the 20 young philanthropists by New York Observer. While the other 2 children are away from politics, Trump's second daughter Tiffany has just graduated and is likely to continue study. She keeps low profile in daily lives. She delivered a speech in July in this year, which is as good as his brother's. And as for Trump's youngest son, although he's too young to be a political affair, he's able to attract millions of internet followers just by a yawn and several facial expressions. You know, only Gavin could make it. In 2016, Hillary praised Trump's children on TV in the election. When asked by an audience, "What's Trump's merits in her eyes?" she replied, "I respect his children. His children are incredibly able and devoted." That says a lot about Trump. Winning the approval of the presidential opponents could well prove that Trump's children are excellent enough.
Look, I respect his children. His children are incredibly able and devoted, and I think that says a lot about Donald. I don't agree with nearly anything else he says or does, but I do respect that, and I think that is something that as a mother and a grandmother is very important to me.
All in all, from personal disposition or similarity, Ivanka doesn't look like Donald Trump at all. Donald Trump Jr. is almost his father, while Trump's second son, Eric, seems to be half Trump, half himself. Currently, there's no doubt that Ivanka is the most hopeful person among all Trump's children to go back to the White House. By the way, this is Ivanka. This is Clinton's daughter.
To the hills of Tennessee, across the plains of Texas, from sea to shine.
I'm Kathy Chen, that's all for today's video. Thanks for watching. If you like it, just subscribe and leave your comment. Bye!